Now to a 7 News exclusive investigation. Our reporter Kirsten Glavin has been diving deep into the horrors of human trafficking in the Upstate. She's been doing this for over a year, and tonight she exposes a new problem that continues to grow.
In the 7 News original report, it begins with a tale of 2 officers racing the clock to find the truth.
Last February, we took you undercover with us in Greer, exposing a dark way of life where women were selling sex just to get by. Some women forced to do it against their will.
I just didn't know what to do.
But now we've learned prostitutes are flying into the Upstate from countries around the world. Tonight, we'll introduce you to the person law enforcement says is roping them in.
911, what is your emergency?
A tip to Greenville police is all it took for officers to surround this apartment on Pelham Road, thinking they'd bust a prostitute and a man paying for sex. But what they didn't know was what lay behind this closed door would launch the most extensive human trafficking investigation in Upstate history.
When they got here and executed the search warrant at this apartment, what they found was a situation where it was far more sophisticated than really anything we'd ever seen.
The pictures of the person's face were
Jonathan Bastoni is an investigator with the Greenville County Sheriff's Office. Police gave him a call in 2017 after he says they found themselves standing inside what appeared to be a highly sophisticated brothel.
This was an apartment that was set up specifically for commercial sex.
Bastoni says they found mints in a waiting area and beds without sheets, strictly for business. Poker chips were marked with numbers indicating how long someone had paid for sex. QV, meaning quick visit. It wasn't long before the Department of Homeland Security got a phone call.
We start going through the closets. We see everything that you would need. There are condoms there. There are feminine products there. There's everything that you would need to run a brothel. This is not something we standardly would see in Greenville, and I haven't seen in my career.
Special Agent Stephen Michaels immediately took over, but what he didn't realize was that this call was just the tip of the iceberg.
Well, I go to the management and say, well, who's renting this apartment? I get that information, and the investigation just takes off from there.
The name they found on that lease is Oriana Martinez, a Greenville County resident born in the Dominican Republic who moved to the Upstate from New York. Bastoni and Michaels say they found more than $100,000 cash had been deposited into her bank account over the previous 6 months. But a lot of that was also being transferred out across the country.
There was an enormous amount of money being funneled through this criminal enterprise all over the place.
At one point, we had a break-in investigation where I was able to get a hold of Ms. Martinez's cell phone, and that's when the investigation really blew up.
After searching Martinez's phone number in a database, investigators say they found it linked to more than 80 commercial sex ads across the country, from New York to Miami, Baltimore, and even Canada.
Several pictures, she would post the pictures.
And the women in the scandalous photos all had something in common.
When I look at her cell phone, I saw that she was using a texting app, and we saw women from all around the world texting her for time in her apartments here in Greenville.
Investigators say the women Martinez was advertising were from the Dominican Republic, Colombia, and other Central and South American countries. According to Michaels, they were groomed to work in commercial sex and entered the States on 6-month travel visas, being flown to major cities as part of an international human trafficking ring. Michaels says screenshots of flight itineraries on Martinez's phone indicated she was helping them book flights on commercial airlines to come here to South Carolina. Investigators say Oriana Martinez would help fly these female prostitutes into the Upstate here at the Greenville-Spartanburg International Airport. She'd do everything from monitor their flight times to arrange for someone to pick them up. According to Bastoni, 4 women would come to the Upstate at a time and prostitute for 2 weeks. 1 week in Greenville and 1 in Spartanburg, hiding in brothels Martinez had set up.
We're very familiar with large drug trafficking organizations. I don't think I had the same concept that there could be large commercial sex organizations. where you had networks of people that were interconnected, that knew to call this person and that person, that knew to transport women from one state to the next state in the same way.
While Bastoni says some women prostituted willingly, hoping to make money for family back home, others got stuck in this ring and wanted out. He says investigators, through a translator, were able to help 4 women total. As for Martinez, she was arrested on federal warrants and pleaded guilty this spring to charges of money laundering and conspiracy to violate the Mann Act, which is transporting women across state lines for the purpose of prostitution. Martinez declined an interview with 7 News, only saying any publicity is good publicity. Bastoni and Michaels say they do not believe she has any regret.
From shopping sprees to high-end cars to a nice apartment, I mean, she was profiting from this herself.
She lived a lavish lifestyle by any stretch of the imagination, and that was based on women selling their bodies to men. And I don't think she's fully grasped that concept, and I don't know if she ever will.
Martinez will appear in Spartanburg Federal Court to be sentenced by a judge. Investigators say she did have help from 3 other people who have also been arrested. To learn more information about them, head to our website. While locally the case is closed, it's believed there are many prostitutes still stuck in this ring somewhere in the United States, many of them likely victims of human trafficking. The question remains, will they get caught or will they get help? And with that, only time will tell. Reporting in Greenville, Kirsten, Glavin, 7 News.
And that is the original reporting. To learn more about Kirsten's investigation, go to WSPA.com. We also have information there for anyone who needs help getting out of a similar situation. Look under links we mentioned.